Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year guys. I know January is like almost gone, but Happy New Year nonetheless. Can you guys believe it's actually 2026? I feel like the years are just flying by faster and faster and faster each year. But yeah, Happy New Year. I hope everyone's year is going great so far. Today's video is a tutorial. It's a very long awaited tutorial. We're finally doing a tutorial for the butterfly skirt, and for this tutorial in particular, I will be crocheting a short butterfly skirt. But once you know how to do the butterfly stitch, you can pretty much go on to make a longer butterfly skirt just by following the instructions on this tutorial. Or if you just want to make the skirt that I'll be making on this video, you can go ahead and do so as well. Measurements you're going to need would be your hip measurement. That's basically it. Your hip measurement and the length of the skirt that you want. We're basically going to be working off of the hip measurement, not so much the waist. We are going to make sure the waist fits, but we're not really going to focus on that. But that's pretty much it. And the things you're going to need are yarn, of course. I am using a 4.5mm crochet hook in this video, and you're going to need a measuring tape. That's essentially it. And for this tutorial, I use a 50% cotton and 50% bamboo yarn. And for the long butterfly skirt, I used 100% bamboo yarn. And for the pink skirt, I used a cotton yarn. Both of them were 100% cotton. And I used one cotton that was sequin yarn and a different cotton, and then I double strand them. But that's pretty much what you're going to need. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching in advance, and I will see you guys on my next tutorial. Enjoy. Okay, so I'm using this yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's the Yarn Bee Bamboo Tiffle. I'm using it in the shade white, and it is 50% cotton and 50% viscose from bamboo. Yeah, so this is the yarn that I'll be using, and I'll be using a 4.5mm crochet hook. And you're going to need a measuring tape. For my blue butterfly skirt, I used 100% bamboo yarn. For the pink skirt, I used 2 cotton yarns, 1 plain cotton and 1 sequin yarn, and I double strand them to make the pink butterfly skirt. Okay, so to begin, you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to chain in a multiple of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to continue chaining in a multiple of 4s until you get your hip measurement when this is stretched. So you want to make sure this can, whatever chain you end up getting, stretches to your hip measurement. You don't want it to be exact like this and then it reaches your hip measurement. You want it to stretch to reach your hip measurement because you want the skirt to be form-fitted. So I'm going to keep chaining until I get this chain to my hip measurement. I'm done making my chain, and I chained about 112 stitches, and this is about 30 inches unstretched, and when stretched it reaches 40 inches. So you want this chain to stretch to your hip measurement. So now that I have my chain, I'm going to chain an extra 13 stitches. So you're going to block off this stitch, not the stitch on your hook, this stitch right here, and then start chaining an extra 13 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So now you're going to count 13 all the way down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. You're going to yarn over twice. Into the 13th stitch, you're going to make a treble crochet. You're going to yarn over twice again. Into that same stitch, you're going to make a treble crochet. So that gives us 2 treble crochets into the same stitch. Now you're going to chain 4, 2, 3, 4. Going to yarn over twice. You're going to skip 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. Into the 4th stitch, you're going to make a treble crochet. Like so. You're going to chain 4, 3, 4. Going to yarn over twice. You're going to count 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Into the 4th, you're going to make 2 treble crochets. Going to chain 4, 2, 3, 4. Going to yarn over twice. You're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Into the 4th, you're going to make a treble crochet. You're going to chain 4, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over twice. Going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Into the 4th, you're going to make a treble crochet. So you're going to repeat this. Basically, you're doing 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, but make sure you're chaining in between. You're doing 4 chains in between every treble crochet you make. So now you're going to chain 4. You're going to yarn over twice. You're going to skip 3 stitches into the 4th stitch. You're going to make 1 treble crochet, like so. So you're going to repeat this pattern until you get to the end of your chain. I'll be back to show you guys what to do next. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row and I ended with 2 treble crochets on the last stitch. So now you're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You're going to turn your work like so. You're going to yarn over twice. Into this treble crochet right here, you're going to make 2 treble crochets. Like so. So you have 1 treble crochet, chain 4, and then 2 treble crochets. Now you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over twice. Onto these 2 treble crochet right here, you're going to find a stitch right at the top, and you're going to go into that stitch and make a treble crochet, like so. And there's like two stitches. Just pick one. It doesn't matter which one you go into. I normally just do the first one. And now you're going to chain 4, yarn over twice. Going to skip this chain 4 space on top of this treble crochet right here. You're going to go on top and make 2 treble crochets, like so. Like that. You're going to chain 4, skip this chain 4 space, and on top of these 2 treble crochets, you're going to go at the top and make 1 treble crochet. So wherever there's 1 treble crochet, you're going to make 2 treble crochets at the top. Wherever there's 2 treble crochet, you're going to make 1 treble crochet at the top. So this is basically where you're going to repeat until you get to the end of your row. So you're going to chain 4, yarn over twice. On top of this 1 treble crochet, I'm going to do 2 treble crochets. Like so. And now I'm going to chain 4. Skip this chain 4 space, On top of these 2 treble crochet, I'm going to go into the top and make 1 treble crochet. So go ahead and repeat this until you get to the end of your row, and I'll be back to show you guys what to do for row 3. Okay, so I've gone all the way down my bow. I'm almost at the end. I just wanted to come back on here to show you guys what to do for the end. You're going to chain 4, and then you're going to skip 4 stitches. We're not counting this stitch that's attached to this treble crochet right here. You're going to count 4 stitches after this stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 4th stitch, you're going to go into that stitch with a treble crochet, like so. Going to yarn over again, go back into that same stitch and make another treble crochet, like so. So this is the end of row 2. So for row 3, you're going to chain 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Going to turn your work, and on top of this treble crochet, you're going to yarn over twice and go into that stitch and make 2 treble crochets, like so. Like so. I'm going to chain 4, yarn over twice, skip this chain 4 space. On top of this 2 treble crochet, just pick one of it. It doesn't matter which one you go into. I go into the first one right here. You're going to go into that stitch and make 1 treble crochet. You're going to chain 4, yarn over twice, skip this chain 4 space. On top of this treble crochet right here, you're going to go into that and make 2 treble crochets. Like so. Chain 4, yarn over twice, skip the chain 4 space, go into this stitch and make a treble crochet. So this is basically what you're going to repeat for however long you want your skirt to be. So you're just going to be going back and forth. Wherever there's 2 treble crochets, you make 1 treble crochet. Wherever there's 1 treble crochet, you make 2 treble crochets at the top. So you're going to repeat this all the way down for row 3 until you get to the end of your row. You're going to chain 8, and then for row 4 you're going to be doing the same thing. If there's 2 treble crochets, you put 1 treble crochet. If there's 1 treble crochet, you put 2 treble crochet. So you're essentially going to keep adding rows, because right now we're on row 3. You're going to keep adding rows until you get to however long you want your skirt to be. So this tutorial is going to be mostly for the pink mini skirt. I'm just going to show you guys how I made the pink mini skirt because it's a shorter skirt. For the long skirt, that would take me ages to finish making this video because it's a longer skirt. But if you want to make the long skirt, you're just going to keep adding more of these 2 treble crochets and 1 treble crochet rows until you get to the length where you want your skirt to be. And then you will come back and I'll show you guys what to do next. But for now, I'm just going to keep adding rows until I get to the length I want my skirt to be. And then I'll be back to show you guys what we're going to do next. Okay, so I have completed the amount of rows that I want. This is going to be the base for my butterflies. So if you're making a longer skirt, you're going to continue adding length to this until you got the length that you want, and then you can come back and watch the next section on how to do the butterflies. So now I'm basically just going to cast off. So going to yarn over and you're going to cast off. cut your yarn and pull through. So that ends our row. So now what you're going to do is you're going to flip. This is basically the bottom. I was working down this way, so now we're going to start working on the butterflies. We're going to flip this around. This is where we started off and worked down. So now you're going to attach your yarn. You're going to flip this around, have this section of the tail be on this side, and then we're going to work from this side down. So what you're going to do is you're going to count 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if you count from here up, you should have 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So on this 4th right here, so you're going to count 1, 2, 3, and then on this 4th, you're going to put your hook right into that. You're going to attach your yarn like so, and attach it however you are comfortable attaching. I just like to tie a knot, maybe 2 knots, just to have it secure. You're going to insert your hook like so. You're going to yarn up and pull through. I'm going to yarn over twice, and we have these 2 treble crochets right here. You're going to work into the first treble crochet that's closer to the hook, so it will be this one for me. So you're just going to take that treble crochet like this. You put your hand right here and flip it. You're going to put your hook right there and make 1 treble crochet like so. Going to yarn over again twice, and you're going to do 3 more treble crochets. So that gives us 4 treble crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 treble crochets, as you can see. And then you're going to slip stitch. You're going to chain 1. You're going to yarn over and go into that same space and make 4 half double crochets. Like so. And now you're going to go into this space right here in the middle. So if you look at it, this is the first treble crochet, this is our second treble crochet. There's a space right here. You're going to place your hook and slip stitch. You're going to chain 1. Now we're working on this second treble crochet right here. So you're going to yarn over and go into that space and make 4 half double crochets. You're going to go into that same space and slip stitch. Going to chain 1. Now you yarn over twice and go into that same space and make 4 treble crochets. Like so. So now let's pull this up. If you flip it around, you will have a butterfly. This is what you should have. Your first butterfly is done. So now I'm just going to put my yarn back on the hook, and right next to the butterfly we have a treble crochet. So you're going to go on the top of that treble crochet and slip stitch like so. So you're just going to yarn over twice. This first treble crochet, right next to the hook is what we're going to work on. We're going to do 4 treble crochets. Now I'm going to go back into that same space and slip stitch, chain 1, yarn over, go back into the same space and do 4 half double crochets. Like so. And now right into this space we're going to slip stitch, chain 1, and then into the next treble crochet right here we're going to yarn over and do 4 half double crochets. I'm going to go back into that same space and slip stitch, chain 1, yarn over twice and do 4 treble crochets. Like so. And then right next to it we have this treble crochet. We're going to go to the top of that treble crochet and slip stitch like so. And now we have our second butterfly. Let me show you guys how to do the butterfly one more time. So you're going to yarn over twice, pick one of the treble crochets, which would be the one closest to the hook, would be this one. You're going to go into that space and do 4 treble crochets. Four treble crochets. You're going to slip stitch. You're going to chain 1, yarn over, go back into that same space and do 4 half double crochets. One, two, three, 4, and right into the space right here you're going to slip stitch, chain 1, and then into the next treble crochet space we're going to do 4 half double crochets. You're going to slip stitch, chain 1, yarn over twice and do 4 treble crochets. And then right at the top of this treble crochet you're going to slip stitch. Now we have 3 butterflies. So repeat this until you get to the end of your row, all the way to the end. I'll be back to show you guys what to do next. Okay, so I've made my butterflies all the way to the end. I have one more 2 treble crochets to work into, so I'm going to yarn over and start working into the first one. And that butterfly is complete. So now you're basically going to take this end where you started your first butterfly with, and this is where I end my last butterfly. So now we're going to connect these two to form our circle for our skirt. So basically where you attached your yarn to start your first butterfly, you're going to go into that top stitch right there. So you guys can see there's a space right at the top of that stitch. Going to place your hook. You're going to slip stitch like so, and that closes our skirt into a circle. So now all you have to do is just keep working more butterflies on the mesh part of the skirt. So now that we're done with this row, you slip stitch, you're going to yarn over. You can yarn over once or you can yarn over twice. I like yarning over twice just to be secured. And you're going to cut your yarn. And that row is complete. Ooh. We have our first row of butterflies. So now we're going to work on the next row. So it will be this row. And you want to start, you always want to start where you have one treble crochet. So for this row, the treble crochet is right here. Right here is 2 treble crochets. So you want to start where there's 1 treble crochet. And then for row 3, you will start over here because there's 1 treble crochet. For row 4, you will go to the other side because that's where the 1 treble crochet is. For me, I'm starting on this side because this is where I have my 1 treble crochet. If you push your butterfly a little bit up, you will see there's a space right here. That's where you're going to insert your hook. You're going to flip it like this and insert your hook into that space. And you're going to attach your yarn. You can do a double knot or a single knot. I'm just going to do a single knot. You're going to yarn over and pull up, and then yarn over and pull through, like so. So now we're working this way. So for this row, we're going to be working on this treble crochet first. The other row we're working this way, so we worked on this treble crochet first. Now we're working this way, so you work on this treble crochet. So the treble crochet that's closer, you always work on the treble crochet that's closer to the hook. So you're going to yarn over twice. You're going to go into this treble crochet space, like so. And you're going to make 4 treble crochets. Like so. Then you're going to go back into that same space and slip stitch, chain 1, go into yarn over and go back into that same space and make 4 half double crochets. And then right here, there's a space right here. You're going to place your hook into that space and slip stitch. Going to chain 1, and then you're going to work 4 half double crochets on the other side of the treble crochet. Going to go back into that same space and slip stitch, chain 1, yarn over twice and make 4 treble crochets. like so. And now your next stitch would be the 1 treble crochet right underneath this butterfly stitch. You're going to, if you push through, you will see the space right here. You're going to go into that space and you're going to slip stitch like so to end your butterfly. And your next butterfly will be right here. You're going to yarn over twice, pick one of the treble crochets, and then go into that and make your 4 treble crochets. Like so. You're going to go into that space and slip stitch, chain 1, yarn over and do 4 half double crochets. For half double crochets, you're going to go into the space right here and slip stitch, chain 1, and then on the other side you're going to do 4 half double crochets. Going to go back into that same space and slip stitch, chain 1, yarn over twice and do 4 treble crochets. And your next stitch would be the treble crochet right here. You're going to go into that space and slip stitch. So now we have 2 butterflies made. So you're basically going to continue doing this until you get to the end of your row. Once I'm done with my row, I'll be back to show you guys how to connect to the other side to close this slit right here. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of my row. I have one more 2 treble crochets to make, to crochet into. So I'm going to yarn over twice and I'm going to go into that space and make 4 treble crochets. I'm going to slip stitch, chain 1, yarn over and do 4 half double crochets. Like so. And then I'm going to go into the space and slip stitch, chain 1, and then work on the other side. Do 4 half double crochets. Going to slip stitch, chain 1, yarn over twice and do 4 treble crochets. Like so. And now we are done with our row. So you basically want to connect this row. So now we have our second row of butterflies right here. This is the first butterfly we made, and we connected to this treble crochet So this one treble crochet right here, this is where we're going to end our row. So basically where we started at, you're going to take this your hook and you're going to go into that space right under that butterfly where we attached our hook, attached our yarn in the beginning of our row, and you're going to slip stitch into that space. Now you're going to yarn over whether one time or two times, it's up to you. I like to do twice just to be extra secure. And then I'm going to cut off my yarn and tighten out. And that ends row 2 of the butterflies. So I've done 2 rows of butterflies. So I have about 8 more rows to do. So you guys can see. So this is essentially what you're going to do. So now for row 3, we're going to be working this way because we have to attach on a 1 treble crochet, because for row 3, this side is going to be 2 treble crochet. So you start where there's a 1 treble crochet. So you're going to turn your work and you're going to attach your yarn into that space at the top of this treble crochet, and then you're going to work this way, making your butterflies. And then for row 4, you're going to work this way, making your butterflies. So you're essentially just working butterfly stitches on top of your mesh. So just keep repeating this until if you're making a longer skirt, you're probably just going to be doing butterflies all the way down. So I'm just going to continue doing my butterflies, and I'll be back to show you guys what to do next once I'm done making my butterflies. Okay, as you guys can see, I have completed all of my butterflies. This is basically where I was connecting the seam, so you can see there's a lot of yarn, ends to weave in. This is where I ended. So now if you can see, there's like a slit right here. There's like a little bit of slit because this is where I connected my last row of butterflies. So now what you're going to do to connect these 2 ends, and then we start working on the rest of our skirt, is you're going to insert your hook. If you push the butterfly, you'll see there's a space right there. You're going to insert your hook into that. You're going to attach your yarn. Go ahead and tie a knot like so. You can tie 2 knots to make it more secure, like so. And then you're going to yarn up a loop. So now what you're going to do is on this side you're going to count 4 stitches up. So from here 1, 2, 3, 4, and on this 4th stitch you're going to slip stitch to connect. So once you've attached and connected this slit right here, you're going to chain 1, maybe 2 times, and then you're going to cut your yarn. And you're going to pull through and fasten off. So now there's no more slit. So now you're going to decide which side you want to be, your front or your back. It doesn't really matter because it's all, once these yarns are weaved in, it's all like the same. So you just pick which one you want to be your front and which one you want to be your back. I'm just going to turn mine around like this to the front, and you're going to try to figure out, lay your skirt down and try to figure out what the middle is. If you follow where these yarns are, you will know this would be about your middle. But just try to figure out where your middle is, and then you're going to decide where you want your slit to be. Basically how many butterflies you want to leave out to be your slit. So for me, for the pink skirt, as you can see, I did 1, 2, 3 butterflies before I started doing these treble crochets on the side. So I left out 3 butterflies. So 1, 2, and 3 butterflies. So you can decide how wide you want your slit to be. So for this skirt, I'm going to just do 3 butterflies as well. So what I'm going to do is basically mark. I'm going to just pick 3 butterflies. So I'll do these 3 right here. So I'll just insert my right here, and then I do another stitch marker over here. So these 3 butterflies would be where my slit would be. So I'm just going to add my stitch marker right here. So this is my slit. Now you're just going to attach your yarn. Basically where you have your stitch marker, you're going to go into that stitch and you're going to attach your yarn. Tie a knot. You're going to pull up a loop like so. So you're basically going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That counts as a treble crochet. So you're just going to do treble crochets into these stitches all the way around until we get to this stitch marker. Just try to fit in as much treble crochets as you can. I would say go by the amount of stitches that's in here. So for me, I already have my first treble crochet. I'm going to yarn over twice and go into this stitch right here and make a treble crochet. And then I'm going to yarn over again and go into the next stitch and make a treble crochet. So you just want to fit in a treble crochet into each available stitch that you can find. And then in here. So basically I'm not counting this first chain 4. I have basically 4 treble crochets in the middle before I'm going to do another treble crochet on top of this stitch that's underneath the butterfly. So I'm just going to go into that space and make a treble crochet. And then yarn over twice and then start doing treble crochets into this next stitch. And then another treble crochet into the very next. Yarn over twice into the next stitch. So just place treble crochets into every available stitch you can find all the way around. Yarn over twice. I'm going into the next stitch and making a treble crochet. And then now I'm going to go into this treble crochet right here on top of it, which would be this space. Going to yarn over twice and go in there and make a treble crochet. So just continue doing this all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. Your last treble crochet is going to be into this stitch marker right here. So I'll be back once I've gone all the way around and I'll show you guys what to do next. So now what you're going to do for row 2, you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to turn your work, going to yarn over twice into the next stitch. You're going to do a treble crochet, yarn over twice into the next, going to do a treble crochet, yarn over twice into the next stitch, you do a treble crochet, yarn over twice into the next stitch, you do a treble crochet. So you're just going to do treble crochets into each treble crochet all the way around until you get back to the other side of your work. Yeah, that's basically what you're going to be doing for row 2. Just yarning over twice and doing a treble crochet into each available treble crochet stitch. like so. So just keep doing this. I'm gonna continue doing this until I get to the other side of my row, and I'll be back to show you guys what to do next. This is the end of my second row, which you guys can see. Now you're just going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to turn your work, and you're going to yarn over twice, going to the very next stitch and do a treble crochet. Yarn over twice into the next, do a treble crochet, yarn over twice into the next, do a treble crochet. So you're basically just going to repeat what you did for row 2. You're just going to be doing treble crochets all the way around until you get to the other side of your work. So just continue doing this until you're done with your third row, and I'll be back to show you guys what to do next. Okay, so I have finished my row 3. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create ruffles all the way around. So you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. You're going to yarn over, go into the first stitch and do 4 double crochets. 2, 3, and 4. I mean, if you want more volume on this side, you can do more than 4 double crochets. I did 4 double crochets on my pink skirt, so that's what I'm doing on this one as well. You're basically going to be doing 4 or more, whichever one you want to do, but I'm doing 4 double crochets into each stitch to create the ruffle part at the bottom. So just go ahead and do your 4 double crochets or more into each stitch until you get back to this side where your other stitch marker is, and then I'll show you guys what we're going to be doing for the slit section. Okay, you guys, so I've made it all the way around, and I made my last 4 double crochets into the last stitch right here. So now we're going to work some ruffles on the slit area, and then we're gonna knit back up over here. So what you're going to do is basically going to yarn over. We're working into these spaces now, as you guys see. So I'm going to yarn over, and I'm gonna go into that space and I'm gonna try to do at least 12 double crochets and see how that looks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. As you can see, it did ruffle up quite a bit. So I'm going to do 12 double crochets into these spaces. I'm going to yarn over, go into the next space and do 12 double crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're at where our stitch marker is. You can go ahead and take the stitch marker out if you haven't already. And into the space where we took our stitch marker, we're going to do 4 double crochets, or however many you want to put in there. So now I have 4 double crochets in there, and then into this space I'm going to do 12 double crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so now I've done my 12 double crochets in there, and then the space right where the butterfly that we have right on top of this butterfly right here, you're going to do 4 double crochets. 3 and 4, and then I'm going to do 12 double crochets, and then I'm going to do 4 double crochets into this treble crochet right here, and then I'm going to do my 12 double crochets and then 4 double crochets into the space at the top of this butterfly. So you're basically going to repeat that until you get to right here, and once you get to here you're going to do 12 double crochets into each of these spaces, and then I'll meet you guys back when I'm all the way over here to show you guys what to do next. Okay, so I've made it all the way and I'm back to where I started. So now you're just going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first double crochet you made to end your row, like so. And now our first row of ruffles is done. You're going to chain 1. You're going to go back into that same space and do a double crochet. And for this row, you're just going to be placing 1 double crochet into every single stitch. You're not doing any increases, any decreases, just placing 1 double crochet into every available stitch. Alright, so yeah, go ahead and place double crochets into every single stitch all the way around until you get back to the beginning of your row. I'll be back to show you guys what to do next. Okay, so I've made it back all the way around, and this is my first double crochet that I made. So I'm just gonna go into that double crochet and slip stitch to end my row. I'm going to chain 1, pull through, maybe chain 1 more just to be, and then I'm gonna fasten off. Next, so the bottom of our skirt is basically done. This is what you should have, like so. And now I'm gonna work on the waist, because the waist is still big and we want it to cinch in so it can fit our waist perfectly. If you've watched any other tutorial on my channel, you would know that I use these elastic cords. They're very tiny, very skinny, and I use them to do the waistband for my skirts. But for now, what we're going to do is, you're going to pick anywhere on your skirt, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna start where my back seam is, and I'm just going to pick a stitch. I'm just gonna go into this stitch right here where this treble crochet is coming out of. I'm going to insert my hook, and I'm going to attach my yarn. And then I'm gonna do another knot just to make it really secure. And then I'm just going to go through that, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. And then into that same stitch, I'm gonna go in and make a single crochet. And then I'm just going to go around the skirt making single crochets, because we need a base where we're going to put our elastic into. So for me, I'm just going to go through, look through. I feel like here I have about 3 stitches that I can do single crochets into 1, 2, 3, and then right in the middle here of this butterfly I'm gonna go in there and make a single crochet, and then do like 3 more single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm gonna go, there's a treble crochet right here, and right on top of it there will be a stitch, so I'm just gonna go into that stitch and do a single crochet, and then do 3 more single crochets, and then single crochet into the middle of this butterfly here, do 3 more single crochets. So you're just going to try to place single crochets all the way around your waist area until you get back to the beginning of your stitch. So just try to find any space that you think is a stitch and go into that space and make a single crochet. For me, I'm just following the stitches that I see and then work single crochets into that. And then I know here I'm putting 1 single crochet in the middle, and then here I'll look and see if there's 3 single crochets, 3 stitches. I'll go ahead and put 3 single crochets through it. So you just want to look for stitches and just place single crochets all the way around. I'll be back to show you guys how mine looks and what to do next. Okay, so I've gone all the way around and I'm at the beginning of my row. So this is my first single crochet I made. I'm gonna go into my first single crochet I made, and I'm going to slip stitch to connect. So now you're just going to chain 1, maybe chain 2. We're going to cut your yarn, and you're done with this part. So now we're just going to need our elastic now. Make sure whatever color you crochet your skirt in, you get an elastic that matches that color, or at least is closer to that color. That way it blends with the skirt. This is it's like a pure white elastic. It doesn't necessarily match it, but this is the closest I can get. So you just want to take your elastic cord, you're going to make a slip knot like so. You can put your hook in there and pull, tighten, then take your hook out. Now you're going to get your skirt, turn it around. Basically where we cast it off, you're going to start there. So for me, I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to put it through that space, and then I'm going to bring my hook to the other side like this. That way I have like a bar on top of my hook. And I'm going to put my elastic on my hook, and I'm going to pull through and then pull this part. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through and tighten to attach it. So now you're just going to be doing attaching your elastic inside of your skirt. So now you're just going to go into the next space, put your hook through, and then bring it to the other side like this. That way you have a bar right there on top of your hook. I hope you guys can see that. You're going to yarn over, pull through, and pull through the stitch. You're going to go into this space next to right there. You're going to come out to the other side. You're going to yarn over, going to pull through and pull through. And you're going to be controlling the tension of the yarn, of how tight you want your elastic to be with this hand. So this is how you're going to control your elastic. So you're going to go into the next, go in, come out the other side, have the bar right there, yarn over, pull through and pull through. Go into the next, come out the other side, yarn over, pull through and pull through. Go into the next, come out the other side, yarn over, pull through and pull through. Go into the next, come out the other side, yarn over, pull through and pull through. So you can see it creates like a bar, and it's going to stretch basically. So that's what you're going to continue doing. Going to go into the stitches, coming out the other side. So you have a bar, yarn over, pull through and pull through. So this is basically where you're going to be repeating until your elastic is attached and your waist is basically going to cinch in, like so. So you guys can see it starts creating like a bar. I hope it's not too bright and you guys can see it, because it's white. I think it's kind of like washing out. Going to go into the next, come out the next, yarn over, pull through and pull through. Okay guys, so I've gone all the way around. As you can see, my waist got significantly smaller. This is where I'm at right now. So now I'm just going to go into the first slip stitch that I made, and I'm just going to slip stitch to finish off that round. Then I'm just going to chain one, tighten up, maybe chain one more. Then I'm going to cut my elastic, pull through and tighten. As you can see, this is how my waist is looking. So now if I really don't want my elastics to show, I'll just take my yarn again, attach it somewhere, and just single crochet on top of the elastic all the way around just to cover it up, so the elastic doesn't show. That's basically what you can do, but I really don't mind because it's white anyway. So and I'm the one that's going to be wearing it. But your skirt is essentially done. So now okay, so now to essentially get this cinch right here, so you guys can see this is the slit and then it's like cinched up here. You're basically going to need an I-cord. You can either crochet an I-cord, or you could use an I-cord machine to make yourself an I-cord. I'm going to do my I-cord on this machine, but I'll show you guys how to crochet one if you don't have an I-cord machine. What you're going to do is, I believe in one of my tutorials I showed how to make an I-cord, but if you don't know how to do it, this is basically what you will be doing. You're going to chain two, like so, and you're gonna go into the first stitch. You're going to pull up a loop, like so. You're going to take your hook, take this loop off your hook, like so. You're going to yarn over and go into the next, put this loop back on like so. And now you're going to take this loop back off, yarn over, pull through the second loop, put the first loop back on, yarn over, pull through the first loop, take that loop off, yarn over, pull through the second loop, put that first loop back on, yarn over, pull through the first loop. So this is basically what you're going to be doing. You're going to be alternating. Take your loop off, do the second, put the first loop back in, yarn over, pull through the first loop, take that first loop out, yarn over, pull through the second loop, put the first loop back on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first loop, take that first loop out, yarn over, pull through the second loop, put the first loop back on the hook, yarn over, pull through that first loop. And as you can see, you basically have a cord forming. So you're going to make this as long as you can. Okay, so to show you guys how you're going to basically cinch the slit like this, I'm just going to use this pink I-cord just to show you guys. I'm going to place your I-cord in here, and then this end is gonna go to the back on inside of the skirt, and it's gonna come somewhere up here like so, and you're just going to tie to cinch it in. Like so. I actually like the pop of color with the pink. I don't know, I was thinking maybe I'll do red. But this is basically what you would have, and this would be like the slit on the skirt, and it just cinches it in. And this is your skirt complete. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on my next tutorial. Bye. Love, thought I did until I knew your heart.